Afternoon, Dave.
Hi, Stephen.
You right?
Yeah, good mate. You okay?
Yeah, fine, thank you.
Good,
Hi,
good.
Claire.
Hiya.
And Jonathan.
Afternoon, all right.
Thank you. And Megha.
Hello, everyone.
We're outnumbered, Claire, by these important people today, aren't we?
Don't know who that is.
Oh, no, I was going to say, Johnny, that's not us.
I was
Oh,
going to say,
no, we're,
absolutely
sorry,
not.
we're the income earners, aren't we? Sorry. Yeah, we're the important people.
Yeah,
You're the people who cost money.
yeah, correct. Correct.
Yeah, we're safer, probably. As
Hopefully.
we're not salaried anyway, so we're completely safe. We don't do anything, we don't earn any money.
How do
Hi,
everybody?
Ross.
Well, Donald.
Yeah, you all right?
Oh, good.
How's Claire?
Good, thank you. You?
Planning to spend all those wages that you're earning?
Yep, booking the holidays as we speak.
Stuff.
Camper van around Scotland.
Yeah,
Oh,
all in
good
this
stuff.
country, I hope.
Yeah.
Keep on writing the guy. Just buy a camper van, that'd be fine then.
I bought one last year.
Oh, there you go.
I'll pick you one up tomorrow.
Oh yeah, if you bought one,
Yeah, tomorrow morning.
what have you got?
California Ocean.
Nice.
Not before time. We're waiting 8 months. All to do with COVID. Hi, Carly-Ann.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And Pat and Asher.
Hi, Pat, you all right?
Hi.
We'll give, what time is it? We'll wait till 14:03, then we'll make a start. More, here's Max.
Hi, Steve. You all right?
Thanks to you. Oh, how far away are you from Carly-Ann? That's better. Safe. I thought you were showing off that you got more than one room in those offices. Maybe not.
You know, Max is just keeping that seat warm for Carly-Ann's daughter when she takes it away.
Yeah. Actually, Carly-Ann, you look like you sat waiting for a bus.
Do I?
Yeah, under a KG financial sign. Right, and Tracy's with us. So let's make a start. Oh, Lana's still coming. We'll make a start and then we'll do some introductions and everything later on. So we've got Megha with us today, who's a guest on this one from 27 Tech, and she's going to go through some hints and tips with us all around using the mortgage sourcing system. And I shall explain it anyway, but we're not talking about 27 Tech as it exists within Toolbox, because she's not a Toolbox expert. We're talking about 27 Tech, the independent system. So are you there, Megha?
Yes.
Okay. You want me to
Brilliant.
make you the host? You're going to be screen sharing with us.
Yeah, I have used Zoom. Not too great at it, so I'll take your help maybe if I get stuck.
No worries. The one thing to remember, as a number of people on here will no doubt remember, is when you've finished, if you leave, you must make me the host first. Otherwise, everyone will be logged off.
Okay.
Right, I've made you the host, so you should be able to screen share with us now. And also, yeah, you've not got your video switched on just yet either. You can't see you or your screen.
Let me just see. Can you see my screen okay now?
Yep.
Brilliant. The reason I got my video is this time, for some reason, my network gets really bad between, say, 1 o'clock till about 3. It's maybe people working that time or taking break. I have no idea. And if I put my video on, it's keep crashing. So if you want to hear me, I need to keep it off. Or maybe next time we do some other time, early in the morning or late in the evening.
No worries.
So, yeah, so thank you for everyone. As Steve mentioned, I'm Megha from 27 Tech. the main idea today is to talk about, share some basic hidden tips to how you can utilize the system more efficiently. Because I did a bit of checks, and I know a lot of you already use 27 Tech standalone, i.e. You do use maybe us within Toolbox, but use us on our standalone version. Maybe on the screen you can see now, this is not a new screen for you. So what we're looking today is understand when you provide some details within 27 Tech platform, how do they actually work? What difference do they make to your sourcing results? So data fields, and also share some best practice to say, what do we normally get from our users, some sort of feedback in terms of how you can utilize the system for maybe remortgages, retention products, buy to let mortgages. A lot of time we see, I don't know if you also have a look at packages, product, how you can basically utilize the system to more efficiently. So we'll share some scenarios with you on a residential and buy-to-let cases. We'll also look at some user settings to say, is the system what you should have as a minimum under your user settings. So when you just give it a background on Toolbox and 27 Tech. So what Toolbox, like a lot of other CRMs, have took 27 Tech data and then built the journey for advisors within their ecosystem. The idea was quite popular a few years ago, where the CRMs wanted the advisors to leave a platform. They wanted everything end to end within one ecosystem, which was great. So you don't have to remember or learn different portals. The problem started, or say the only issue there is, as 27 Tech, and I don't know if any of you do follow us, we do upgrade our system, add new features, benefits every month. So we do iterations every month, and CRM partners are very behind us in terms of sourcing is just one element of a CRM. If we add any feature, it takes normally maybe about 18 months to 3 years behind to where we are. So advisors don't get full benefit of the system if they just use the integrated version within CRM. Whereas if you use 27 Tech standalone version, anything we launch, and as long as available to you via your network, you will have access to it pretty much straight away. There are a few key benefits of 27 Tech system as well. Because I only have one screen with me today, so I did not arrange any PowerPoint, but just to give a background, you may know already, we don't have any mandatory data fields within 27 Tech. So when you launch the system and go to cloud, say cloud.27tech.com, maybe just click on the start journey. And because, very quick phone call with the customer, and they say, I'm looking to buy a property for 350 on 75% loan to value, maybe 30 years, what are the rates? If I don't want to provide anything else, I can still search. There is no mandatory data field within 27 Tech. The more details you provide, more accurate the result would be, because we use about 600 or 700 now criteria pieces behind scene. And what I mean by this is when you go into your sourcing criteria, your sourcing, any details you provide, like if it's a remortgage product, what is the reason for remortgage? Where's the saving coming from? If it's a repayment and interest only, even say interest only mortgages, we do check lender minimum equity requirements for you. What type of payment method they're using, a little bit more details. Any details you tell about your customer, the applicant type, income, credit history, we discount lenders based on what you tell us. So there is no minimum, but it's your choice how many details you want to provide to discount lenders. It does take time to build the trust in the system. A lot of advisors choose to provide very basic detail, do a search and use your own knowledge and expertise to discount lenders, completely your choice. But if you feel I do want to actually look for self-employed customer who has 1 year account, you can provide those details in the system and we will do the sorting for you. And we always go on the generous side. So if a lender have a gray area in their criteria or they don't publish the criteria, we will source. For example, if you say self-employed 1 year, we will still source to Halifax. And though Halifax published criteria said they need 2 years account, but they may consider 1 year. And because they may consider 1 year, we will source them. Similar thing, if you say, I have a customer with a bad credit and I want to provide something under the adverse. So as long as you have your client credit file, you say, they have some CCJ, provide those details, and we will discount lenders and products accordingly. So if they fit in a certain tier product with the lender, we will only show you the tier they fit in. But if a lender have a gray area where they say, well, give us a call and we have a look, and they don't publish their criteria, or they want you to run a dip, like Nationwide, we will let them source. So we'll not discount any lender your client can potentially go to. Now, just looking at some little icons to say what they mean, and then we'll look at some sourcing examples. The first one is simple login, log out, as everyone knows. If you want to increase the screen size and collapse the left-hand side menu, you click on those little 3 bars and your screen size get a bit bigger. And you have a little calculator as well. Now, some advisors never even used it, find it quite handy. All this calculator does, it's not a live calculator, but if you have a customer just getting an estimate and say what my rate may be or what my monthly payment may look like. If you know the loan they're looking for about 250, the rate may be about 1.89, that will just give you the monthly breakdown. It doesn't do anything more than that, but you can use it as a quick reference on a phone call if you have a customer asking about what my monthly may be like. Then we have a help portal. So anyone who's been new to 27 Tech or have not used it enough, anytime you're using the system, you get stuck because the system not making sense, or the results screen, you're getting products you didn't expect it to say, or you're not getting product you expected to say, give us a call. So team in Bournemouth, they work till 7 p.m. on weekdays, till 12 p.m. on a Saturday. Really handy. They can have a look at your screen, see what type of sourcing you're doing. If there's a reason why you're not getting the products you expected to see, they will tell you why. If there's any criteria behind the scene that's stopping the product, they will do the investigation for you. To save you time instead of going to different lenders and chasing the BDMs, we can do that work for you. So give them a call if you need something urgent, or you can email them and they come back to you within 2 hours. But within that source model, you have a lot of other details as well. So you got FAQ, though it says article, they're not article, they're short videos. So if you say, how do I actually score for shared ownership or expat, you can click on this and you'll get a little video. So majority of videos are 1 minute to 2 minutes. That can save you time by calling anyone, and then you will know how to utilize the system. So have a look into this if you have not seen this before. For anyone who like reading, there are user guides as well. So you can download user guides. There's some search scenarios, how you generate documents. You can download them and read them in your time. The interesting things all start on this left-hand side menu. So anytime to go back to your home screen, you can click on the cloud. Oh, another tip, if you are using 27 Tech Standalone, use Google Chrome. We do not best on Explorer. Its system does sometimes crash, sometimes give you errors, or the screen resolutions are not the best. So if you use Chrome, that'd be ideal. Also, to start your journey, you can just click on start, or you can use your mortgage on the source menu here on the left-hand side. You do have, you can see loan and combine. For Primus users, we don't have any lenders in there, so not maybe something you can choose. So even if I'm looking for residential and a check, you will not think, you're not getting products. So we don't have any lenders on that panel, but your day-to-day be more like mortgage, where you can check your residential, buy-to-let, shared ownership, help to buy, soft cases. Just looking at these data here, and then we do some examples. Sourcing history, really, really important piece. If you have used different softwares before 27 Tech, and as I said, you don't have to provide much data about your customer, the more details you provide, the more accurate result is. So with the search I just did when we started the call, even though if you don't give your client name because you provided just a purchase price and look at the rate for the customer, if you go back to your sourcing history, you will have everything you have searched in the platform, even with giving the client a name or without. So if this client come back to me later today or tomorrow, whenever, and say, you gave me this quote on the 27th, can you give me illustration? I can go back to my sourcing history, pick where I left, and I can now give this client a name. Even just a name and nothing else. And the moment you give this client a name, run a search, we will automatically create a client for you. So any search you have done for this customer now onwards, any documents you create for this customer now onwards will go under your client folder on the left-hand side. So if I just go into this client folder, I have a customer now, Steve Smith. If I open that customer, the search I have done for him is under here. It also means if you have a customer with multiple properties, you don't have to create them again and again. So if I've done a mortgage for this axis and I go open that profile and look at all the searches I have done for them over the period since I've known them as a customer, I can look at my history. Any search I have done for them would be listed here. quite helpful for your portfolio clients or remortgage clients. If I give that search a property address, it will even list me down to say what property search is against. If they come back to me after years, say, can you remortgage my Milton Keynes property or Leeds property or whatever it is, I can just go back to my sourcing and pick it where I left. Obviously, I can change the details if needed. Or if this customer now want to buy another property, we can go back to this client and do a new search for them under source, mortgage, and just run a new search. So if they are now looking for investment property, maybe buy to let for 120,000 on 80% LTV, 25 years, the interest only, just anything. And I give this property an address quickly. Search. The moment I search this now, and I produce a document for this customer, whichever document it may be, illustration. Time saving wise, you don't have to create on the customer. That will not give you any duplication, and anything belongs to this customer will be at one place. Anytime when you generate a document, we will give you a PDF, but always go in the client folder as well. So me going back to this client folder and to the same customer, I now have at the end of the search, instead of 9, I got 10, and that tells me what property search that's against. If I go back, any documents are created for this customer, which I just did now, is listed here as well. I don't have to remember to download this. It's cloud-based. You will never lose those documents. Now going back on the left-hand side menu, so that'd be your sourcing history. You also have product listing. As I said, we have a lot of data fields behind the scene, i.e. when you're providing more details about your customer, we may be discounting lenders or products for you. If anytime you feel that there's a lender you expected to see or a product you expected to see and you did not see that in your search result, have a look at product listing. Any single product which is available for you would be under product listing. So if I want to see what does any lender will think of, Santander, for example, has to offer today, not direct, Santander, UK PLC maybe, on the residential range, and search. All their products in the system would be listed here. That give you visibility of, okay, the product is in the system, it's not coming on your search result, could be the criteria reason that's stopping this. In which case you can check with the lender really about the criteria, or you can check with us why Santander is not coming for the search, and we will do the checks for you. There's another reason why you may want to use this. So if you have lenders who still have PDF documents, instead of going to different lender portals, downloading the documents, you can just come to 27 tag, say, okay, this is the lender I'm looking for, maybe precise, what mortgages do they have at present on their residential buy-to-let range, and just do a quick search. So instead of going to different portals, you can all do all your searches within one place. And they are very criteria, sorry, the panel driven. So you will only see products which are available to you to use. It's not a general product, we would say. If there are any exclusive products available for you to see, they will be listed here as well. I will touch on this criteria listing in a second, just running some sourcing example to say, we talked about best practice, so let's check them. First one is your residential case. Now, there are a few details you should provide. One commonly asked question we normally get is, when we're looking for retention products, we get a remortgage, we get retention product from all the lender. If that would happen with you as well, every time when you have a remortgage, you get another drop down called existing mortgage details. Within this, please tell your current lender. If you leave it blank, system doesn't know, and any lender who do publish their retention products, you will see them. So you need to tell your current lender, just use the drop down, say if my current lender is Barclays, I will only get retention product from Barclays and no one else. If I don't want to see any retention products, I can choose other, and I will not see any retention product. So that can save you a lot of time, because if you don't have your product name, for instance, if I leave it blank and I'm looking for a remortgage, just making sure my client is not a first-time buyer, and running a search, I have about 106 products, and I don't have any product here. So I can see this nationwide, that is a retention product, but I have to hover on this to get more details. Same with Barclays, that's a retention product. That's a direct product. And you will see why it's a similar rates, so I got repetition of products. So if I change this, and I say my current lender is Barclays, and search. First, my products are only 67. That Nationwide disappeared. I only have Barclays retention product now. And I said, if I don't want any, and I can just to other, I won't even have the Barclays retention product. So that's one tip, may be useful. Same thing for porting. If I'm looking for a purchase, I'm looking for porting, I should tell who is the current lender, otherwise you get porting products from all the lenders. Second thing you may need to do is source of deposit. Now, we can't do multi-selection of source of deposit in 27 tag unless you have one source of deposit or you really want to discount lender based on source of deposit, leave it blank. Because if you are looking for, say, a new build property, there's a bit of money coming from builder gifts, some money coming from family, some are own saving. I can't choose it all. And if I said the money is coming as a builder gift, system will assume that all this 25% is coming from builder gift. If I leave it blank, any portion or any data which you leave it blank, you will completely ignore that field. And simple way is to go step to step. So the tab to tab, there are 4 tabs on top. One side is the mortgage requirement, which you would do every case anyway. If you want to create any illustration for this customer, you will give their name, title, and date of birth, which is a normal requirement. Gender and marital status make no difference to your mortgage sourcing. So it's your choice if you want to provide this or not. Citizenship definitely does. So it's another area how you source for expats. It's not as much detail. So if you have customers in different tier visas, system does not have the capability to check it within your sourcing. However, you can check that within the criteria on the left-hand side, which I will show to you before we finish. But you can discount lenders based on, is it British, is it EU, non-EU, or expats? Another important thing is applicant type. I see a lot of advisors leave it completely empty because it's not a mandatory field. However, it's a really important field. Reason it's important, if I'm looking for a purchase, my client could be a first-time buyer, could be a next-time buyer, could be a buyer with existing mortgage property, and they may want to look at porting, which you didn't tell the system. Now, some lenders, like Nationwide, for example, they display their retention and porting products together. So it's just the way they label their products. If I leave it blank, I get everything. I got some porting products, some first-time buyer, next-time buyer. And if a lender have same rate but different product codes, you have duplicate products. Again, for this example, if I leave it blank and I do a search, let's see what I get. I have 83 products. And see, the first one, even Nationwide, wow, is it retention? If I tell the system or say, this is Halifax, it's 1.30, though it's not retention, I'm sure one of this is for first time buyer, that's the one. And next one, this is normal standard next time buyer by same rate. But if you want hover on it, you want check it, you may end up recommending a different wrong product or wrong product code to your customer. Quite important to tell your applicant type. If it's a first time buyer in this case, and I do my search, I will get rid of any product which is not applicable for my customer. First, it will save me time. And second, it will save me from recommending a wrong product. As you can see, it's only one product left here now, and Nationwide disappeared as well. Another thing I would say on this client tab, if you want to provide any further details like your dependents, it's your choice. You don't have to. The dependent details will not make any difference to your sourcing result. Same thing with contact details. It's good to provide contact details for your client folder. It will not make any difference to your sourcing result. Employment and credit history does. So even outgoings will not make any difference because we do not do full affordability. We only do income multiple. If a lender, or if a lender did not fit, your client does not fit lender basic income multiple, we will discount those lenders for you. But we will not run the full affordability. You need to check it yourself. So outgoings, contact details, they will not make any difference. It's your choice if you want to provide this or not. Employment definitely does. If you tell your client is employed, tell the income, we run income multiple. If you say it's any extra income they have, maybe some overtime of £3,000, if a lender take 100% of it, we use 100% on income multiple. If they take 40%, 60%, we do accordingly. If you leave it blank, if you leave everything blank, we will just ignore it. We will not do anything, and you can just do your own affordability checks. Just don't put 0. If you put 0 as a value, 0 as a number, we take it as a value, and your income multiple will not fit with pretty much any lender. So a little bit mindful on this. also on your employment. So any fields you wish to use, you can. If I say my client only been employed for 1 month and they've been continuously employed for 1 month, 1 year, 1 month, if a lender have a minimum employment period of 2 years, continuous employment or 3 months in current job, we will discount those lender based on their published criteria. If you leave it blank, we will not do this and you can do it yourself. There are a few options here, as you can see. Self-employed, we touched it before. If you tell how many year accounts available, we will discount lenders accordingly. If you leave it blank, we will just completely ignore this and you can do your own checks. Similar thing on credit history, which we touched before. Only complete credit history if you have your client credit file, because if you don't, and you say that the client has a default, you need to provide details. If you can't provide details, the best thing to do is on the top, if I skip property quickly and go to filters, you have situations. So that situation basically a tick box. So if I say my client has a default, it will not ask you for more detail, but all it will do is list you a list your name of lenders who may consider a default. But then you need to get more details from your client, making sure the details are correct and check that with lender, do the legwork yourself basically. If you provide those details within your client, adverse, we will do the checks for you based on lender published criteria. Then you have your property details. Now, again, property details is very undermined area. A lot of advisors completely leave it blank. You can because it's not mandatory. However, there are a couple of things on this place which are quite important. Property location, for example. If you don't tell the property location, you get lenders from everywhere. So if you're looking at property in England, you get Danske, AIB, though they don't lend in the area maybe you're looking at, then you have to use your manual checks and discount those lenders. If you tell the property location, we will discount those lenders for you. So you only see lenders who will lend in England, not in Scottish lenders, Northern Ireland lender, you don't see. Same thing if you're looking to buy a property in Scotland, that will get rid of any English lenders, Northern Ireland lenders your client may not be eligible for. If you wish to, you can go drill down. So say it's a flat, how many floors in the block, if it's a conversion or studio, property above commercial, you can use all these, any data field here, we will use it to discount lenders. If you wish to use them, feel free to use. A second thing you should definitely use is your property use. If it's residential, primary, second home, holiday home. If it was a buy-to-let case, you have option for holiday lets as well. Local authority, self-explanatory, but property age. Property age is how we will filter new build products. So if you're looking for new build, just put 1 month and we will show you new build products. If you leave it blank, you get everything. But that is maybe the only time we actually use it. Just remember, anything which you classify as new build, property in the construction, newly built property being completed but empty for the last 6 months, old bar community flats, anything which you consider as new build, put 1 month and we'll sort new build products. If you know the property address, as I said, if you tell this, we will list it under your client folder, so it's easier for you to pick the property later. But if you know at least the first 3 letters of postcode, we will search your regional lenders accordingly. So it's your choice if you wish to provide this. And then filters. Now by filters, as default, you have everything selected for you. If you wish to do anything as a default, you can do that on filters. So if I say majority of my cases are fixed rate 2 years, but I can change it case to case, and you can put this as a default setting. You can also choose if you don't want to see any packaged products, for example, as a default, or on case to case, you will have an option here with the packages. You can choose lenders not packaged, and you will not see any packaged products. Or if you want to see a certain package, you can choose them as well. Your preferences, quite self-explanatory. Just one thing to remember in the preference, you can't do mix and match. What I mean by this, if I say I'm looking for a product with free valuation and no arrangement fee, you will only see products of both of them, not one or the other. So a little bit mindful on what you say is a preference for your customer. And also the period. Any period you choose, we plus minus 6 months for you as a default. So say for 2 years, you get 18 months to 30 months product. If you go custom and put it manually, you can, but we still plus and minus 6 months. So be a bit mindful of what you choose on your product period and custom as well. And then once I'm happy with the product selection, just click on search mortgage and your products will be here. Now, a few tips on this screen. I just will change my screen configuration now. If your screen looked pretty much like what I can see now on here, It's nothing wrong. That means you don't have full configuration of the system. What I mean by this is to get more details, you can click on the plus sign and do the comparisons for any details that you can't see. Sometimes it does help if you do control and minus on your screen, maybe a couple of times, and that increases screen sign. Anything which you may potentially need to see for your customer can be listed. I just find it easier to run the comparisons this way. What you can also do, these columns which you see on the screen, you can make them bespoke to yourself. So it's completely your choice. You can do it as a default, or you can do it case to case. So in this particular scenario, if I say, I do actually want to see my product name next to this, I can go to my filters and in the columns where I can add or delete any columns. If I don't wish to see ERC or APRC, duration or anything which I don't feel is, is applicable to me or I need to see, I can delete them. I can add anything I wish to see on the drop down on top. And I say, if I want to see a product name, add this as a new column for this particular search, that will go on the bottom of the list. Arrange it where I wish to. Let's just take it all the way to up. But as I said, you can do this as a default setting as well, so you don't have to keep changing it every time. But if you want to delete in certain scenario, you can. There we go, almost there. Okay, once done, press OK, and then you apply filters. This is designed because every advisor is different. You may want to see different things on the screen just to make your life easier, and you can do so. To source, obviously, click on the top column to say what you want to use sorting order as. But nowadays, the first thing we generally do is go into my true cost. It's really, really important. Again, that's another thing you can put as default. So there are two main options. If you leave them completely blank, we will run your true cost over term. No advisor really done the true cost over term. If you say you want to do initial true cost over initial period, what it means is we will do it over the term of the product. I.e., if you have, say, 24 months, it'd be only 24 months. You're comparing apple to apple. If you say over initial period, a 2-year product could be 26 months, 27 months, etc. So just choose it accordingly. And if you want to do them as a default, you can as well. There's one thing I want to say quickly on true cost. A lot of time, if you say you want to add fees to the loan, some lenders, it may go over the initial period, the LTV limit. I.e., if I say I want to add the fees to the loan, I'm looking for 75% LTV products. Adding fees to the loan may make my product 75.22, and that we will discount those products from the screen. So be a bit mindful when you add fees to the loan. If you don't see a product you expected to see, just go back and untick this, and then you can see those products. I'm not sure how are we with time. I know I'm keep talking, so can you update me on time? Do we still have 5 minutes?
Yeah, just a couple of minutes, Megha.
Okay, that's fine. We got pretty much on this side anyway. There's one thing I want to highlight on the buy to let piece as well. If it's a buy to let, your journey stays exactly the same. The only difference you get is within your buy to let, you get buy to let details tab. If you don't utilize this tab, please do, because that can save you a lot of time. Every single data field here, if you tell your client expected rental income, we run the APR, we run the ICR calculations for you. We do not run the ICR if you say you want to use your client income. Otherwise, we do. We also can source based on your client is high rate taxpayer, if it's different landlord status, if it's a limited company or SPV, you can do your illustration on their name as well. So if you have not used this section, please make sure to use. And any default settings you want to do, make sure on the left-hand side menu, go into my account and settings. We can run all your default settings, how you want to display your columns, how you want to do your true cost calculations. If you want to filter your results based on filters, to say, I only want to see fixed rate 2 years as a default setting, don't want to see packages, you can put them all as a defaults. And make sure to scroll till the end and save. So I know it's been a half an hour for me talking, but hopefully that could give you some tips of how to utilize the system. Unless anybody have any questions on anything.
A couple of things from me, Megha. Firstly, how often does it sort of update in terms of products and criteria?
It's all real time. So lenders have SLAs in place with us for 24 hours, 48 hours, sorry. So they do normally tell us 48 hours before. So every time when you log in, the system would be up to date. If there's any product or criteria change, it will be all up to date.
Okay, thank you. And the other thing I just want to mention is be wary if you're starting changing columns and things, because obviously you've got to think about compliance. I assume that's not, you run the risk of something not being displayed that is required. But thank you. Anybody else got any questions for Megha? No?
One thing can I ask? You kept talking about saving things as default. How do you actually save it as default rather than on the individual case?
So if you go into your settings, so on the left-hand side menu, my account and settings.
Yeah.
Within that settings, you have lots of options. So how you can do your true cost, how you can do your filters, any changes you do within that setting area and save it, that will become your default setting.
Right. Okay. Okay.
I
Thanks,
have
Pat.
a question. How do I make you a host back?
Hover over my picture, top right-hand corner. There's a little box with 3 dots, and it will say make host.
Oh, okay.
Just click on that.
Brilliant.
That's it.
Okay.
Thank you, Megha. Thanks very much for that. Very
No problem
useful,
at
and I'm
all.
sure I just wish I'd have asked you to do it 18 months ago. You've told me some stuff, and I regard myself as quite proficient with it. But I've made quite a lot of notes. So thank you very much. If you want to stay with us, you're welcome.
Just as a tip, I mean,
Do something else.
look, okay, I will leave you guys, but just very quickly, if you ever feel like, you're running questions and you're speaking to help desk, if you get any outstanding queries, please feel free to drop me a message and I will pick those with you. If anytime you want to run any Q&A sessions, I'm more than happy to pick them with you as well. So yeah, just an open offer. But yeah, thanks.
Thank
for
you
your
very
time.
much. Take care.
Okay.
Right, guys. For those of us who are advisors, that was probably very useful. For those of you who aren't, you're probably bored. So I don't apologise because I enjoyed it. And I certainly don't apologise to Donald for sending me messages about it. Right, mentioned you, Donald. So over to you.
Thanks, Steve. Are you allowing me to share screen? Yeah, I am. That's good. Right. Okay, can we all see the screen? Yeah.
Yeah.
So just what I'm going to do today, quick canter through where we're at months to date, from Primus all the way to where we are ourselves. And then I'm going to introduce Dave to talk to you a little bit about what Dave's going to be up to. So without further ado.
And he cares very much about fallout from the pandemic. So in my...
Hello?
We're all right now.
Right. Yeah. So just high level, looking at the network, this is the beginning of this week where Primus as a whole is at month to date. So pretty much on track, 80% at the beginning of the week with a full week to go, is heading in absolutely the right direction on the mortgage side, protection side. Completions as well, looking pretty good. And lapses, we always like to see lapses behind where we forecast them. That's a good place to be as well. So everybody's still busy out there across the whole of Primus world. Protection holding up really well. These are the links that we get reported to us from Solution Builder. So this is the pre-app, if you like, pre-applications that we see, and basically it's just growing and growing. With there are lots of activity going on in the protection space, which augurs well for new business coming through in the coming weeks. Where are we at in terms of the network? A bit more detail on the numbers. Ignore the numbers on the left hand side. Really, over here is where you want to see it. It's green, well in the green. And if you think back to last May, that was us right in the middle of the first lockdown we'd ever had. So you can only imagine why we're so much further ahead than we were last year. But it's all feeling pretty positive out there in terms of activity and what's going on in the market, other than stock availability for properties, which is something I'm sure you're all finding a bit of a challenge for all of you wannabe buyers. Looking at linear, same thing, way ahead of last year on the mortgage side. Protection applications, looking really good year on year. Completions could be a little better. And lapses, we suffered a few more lapses than we normally would. But general insurance, now that we've got Ash onboarding all our general insurance for us, job's sound, you know, so well done, Ash and everybody who's writing general insurance. Looking at just the regional sort of breakdowns as a whole, this is just to show you really that it's wherever you go in the UK, you know, these are sales director areas, and you can see that, you know, pretty much all of the areas are you know, consistently, you know, producing high figures. I've got 2 regions, so you can add mine together if you like, and then that would make me top, which is always good fun. So moving on to ourselves, rather than doing a weekly one or a monthly one, what I thought I'll do is let's have a look back at year to date, and let's see who's written the most year to date and the linear. So we can see Kylie Ann sat up there with the 120 grand's worth of written commission year to date. Excellent. Time to get some of that stuff in your pocket, Kylie Ann, I think, isn't it? Coming through. And Dan, Matt there, Alfie, Steve up there, Claire, well done. You're really pushing hard up at the league table as well. So what's good about this from my perspective, and when I'm looking at it, is that there's a very strong, you know, consistent delivery by a lot of people now in linear. I think, you know, a year and a half ago, the picture might have been slightly different and slightly skewed for various reasons. But it's a nice, strong, clear performance that we're seeing. Looking at what really matters, i.e. money in the pocket, we can see Steve Dillon sat there at the top year to date in terms of actual paid on business. So well done, Steve. Kylie Ann, I'm sure you've got pipeline stuff that's going to come through and give Steve a challenge in the next month or two, but he's probably got a few up his sleeve as well. So yeah, it's again, nice sort of consistent performances coming through. Finishing off on my own presentation today, just a quick reminder of events. Obviously next week's bank holiday, so there's no Monday session. But the following week you've got there's a trust event. It's quite a long one, that one. So it's like, you know, if you really want to sort of learn a lot about trusts, that's definitely one to be on. Weeks following that, we're going to have some new firms on having Q&As, and then we'll do a mortgage excellence one. I think that'll probably be Claire Madge again, and that's usually a very good session on the 21st of June. And then for anybody's looking to get into business protection, we've got a specialist one towards the end of the month and the end of the half year, unbelievably. So that's my sort of initial session, if you like. I won't ask for any questions at this stage. I'll leave it till the end when Steve does a bit of a round robin to see if anybody's got any questions about anything. You can feel free to ask me as well. What I'd like to do is, as I indicated last week in the email out, is to introduce Dave Woodbridge into assistance with the linear fraternity. Really welcome news for me, because it's all about sort of help, share, assistance, and so on for everybody across linear. And I'm conscious that, you know, my time is sometimes not as available as it used to be. So I'm not going anywhere particularly. I'm just pleased to welcome Dave on board and to give Dave 5 minutes to tell us about himself, really. Over to you, Dave.
Thanks, Donald. Afternoon, everyone. So yeah, really, it's just to give you a bit of a heads up. That email that Donald sent out probably kind of went, what's all this mean? What's it all kind of doing? Why is he coming along? So really, just firstly, just a huge opportunity for me. Obviously, most of you, I think, know me from training roles and this type of thing. So I've moved into Richard's team, which comes with it, obviously, all the challenges of Richard Coulson that we all know and love. But ultimately, what it means is the reason why I'm with you and talking to you this afternoon is really a massive testament to all of you on this call already, because of the success of Linear means that, you know, Primus are very keen to put more support into linear and help you continue with the fantastic growth that we've seen over the last 12 months and the figures that Donald's just put on there. So my remit really is, the first one is really just to give you some comfort. I know over the last 12, 18 months, 2 years, you've all been through quite a large amount of change and all that kind of stuff and all that brings. Really, so as Donald said, he's not going anywhere. Donald will still be a key part of linear. And my role, one part of my role would be to support Donald massively in some of the stuff that, as his role has grown, then I can work with him, Stephen, in terms of supporting some of the day-to-day stuff, and all of you as well. The second thing in terms of my remit is really there to support you now. Clearly, I know, you know, some of you through the training role, and I think I've now got a focus and can work with all of you within linear in terms of just kind of as a support network as well. And then the third remit really is hopefully one that's quite exciting for everyone, and that is we want to build a development program within linear to support you and your businesses and the whole of linear in terms of bringing advisors, bringing new people into the industry. We want to kind of build academy program with CMAP support and you know, Cert Pro, which is the protection equivalent support as well. So we really want to use linear as an opportunity to grow our stars of the future, but also more importantly, and just as importantly, is to support you and your businesses and where you want to go in terms of what you're trying to achieve as well. So obviously with my training background in the L&D side of it, that will come hand in hand with what we can hopefully build and develop within linear. So that bit's really, really exciting. And then really it's just to be on hand for any of you. If you think, oh, can you just show me this, or can you help me with this, or can we talk about this, and help Donald, help Lucy, however I can, help Stephen as well. So that's really it. It's just additional support. It's an indicator that Primus and LSL see linear as a key jewel in what they've got, and they want to put some more support in there to help you grow and continue the great work that you've already done. I think that's probably all I need to say, Donald, unless you've got anything else you want to kind of throw in.
No, I think that's it. For me, it is, you know, I don't know, it's a relief in a way that, you know, the value is now being seen from exec level to go, right, we can put some additional support into linear to help everybody, and also to come up with some new plans. That there are a lot of people out there who have sort of retrained themselves almost to try and get into financial services, and some of you will know it's not an easy place to break into at times. If you haven't got the background experience, you kind of need somebody that's going to, you know, give you that bit of a home for a while and help you and so on. And I think, you know, the opportunity we've got is there. You know, I know, like, so, you know, so look at Kylie-Ann, you know, Max last year came in, you know, young, fresh-faced lad. They always used to shave every day, wear a suit, all that kind of thing. Look at him now, you know, he's sat in your daughter's chair. Brilliant, you know. But you're growing as a branded business within linear. Steve, you've got Dawn starting when? Next week, probably? Dawn starts?
Yeah, Monday, Tuesday next week.
And then, why have you wanted to bring Dawn in?
Because I want to grow Mansfield Mortgage and Protection and go along the lines that Kylie-Ann's started to go along. And she's an ex-colleague. She'll do a damn good job. She'll be under the linear banner. She'll be an asset to us, and she trusts me.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's only positive, and I would hope that, you know, I've already got conversations ongoing with somebody else that I would hope to bring in towards the end of the year as well. Yeah.
So I think it's great. I think there's been a little bit of a step change over the last year or so, or a year or two that I've seen is all of a sudden people are going, well, what I really want to do is deal with customers and you know, deal with the advice side and so on. And I'm starting to wonder whether within the appointed representative world, some people are a bit like, I wish I was in a place like linear, because then I wouldn't have to be so, you know, time up with some of the things that you have to do when you're in an AR and so on. I think there's a time that's right for that. I do believe that over the years, it's always been, well, you can either be an AR or directly authorized. There's been no kind of in between place really that enables you to sort of develop and grow a really strong customer base and business and so on. And then at some point, if it's right, yes, now I will stand on my own, and I'll take the put the name above the door, onto the FCA register, I'm the approved person, etc., etc. So yeah, I think it's just a really it's a positive, really positive time for Linear, and with Dave coming in with all the experience and background that Dave has of from the training, learning, development side and so on, I think there's lots of things that he'll be able to help us all with in terms of development. So really looking forward to it. It will evolve. It's all I can say. I think we're lucky in a way. It's not even an absolutely defined role. I think it can go in lots of different directions. If there's something that's good to do, it's like, right, let's go down that route and let's try these things. So yeah, very positive.
Excellent.
So we'll hand back to Steve to do his round robin.
Indeed. Well, first of all, I'm just looking in terms of the other people who are on, so I'll go to the most important person who's on, Lucy. You've got to have somebody who's the brains behind the operation. Is there anything that you want to talk to us about, or any gripes you've got, or anything we're not doing that we should be doing, or do you want to thank us all because we're all wonderful?
Yes, I do want to thank you all because you are all wonderful.
Is there a but?
I don't think so. Probably with those that are present, all I would probably say is, can you please sort out your missing data? I know I'm like a stuck record, but it does make a difference to your figures, and it makes a difference to Linear's as a whole. Missing data will be things like policy numbers not put in, or the correct policy number not put in, missing lead sources, estimated commission. For some reason on Toolbox, when a protection policy goes on risk, it wipes out the estimated commission. If you can just check once that's happened, go back and put the estimated commission back in, it will then be included into your figures. Really, really important.
Well, it is. That's why we all do it. We might like clients, might want to help them, but we want money. Yeah,
and joking aside, missing lead sources will affect things like pay, because if Hutch doesn't have a lead source on something, he can't marry it up, and then that will sit in his suspense. I won't know about it, Ross won't know about it, because it's a totally different suspense that Hutch has. So that's really important. I don't think, to be honest, too many of you on here are guilty of that.
We'll insist that everyone else watches it then.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Lucy. Sophie, you're with us as well. Have you got anything you want to share with us?
Hello. I'm not putting my camera on because I'm full of cold, so I'm just going to sit here quietly. I haven't got anything to update anybody on, but if anybody needs me, as ever, just get in touch. I'll pop my details in the chat, because I know there's quite a few people that I've not actually touched base with yet. So if anyone there needs any advice, setting up Google business pages, that kind of thing, social media, just drop me a line. That's all.
If I can say thank you, Sophie. I wasn't paying as much attention as I should have been, and realised 2 days ago, I think, that my Facebook reviews weren't feeding through to my Trustist reviews, and hadn't done for, well, I'm not going to say how long, so it's a bit embarrassing, but a lot longer than I realised. And Sophie sorted it out, and that was another 30 odd reviews that went on, and I think that's probably done the same for Linear and for some other people as well, because the link wasn't.
Absolutely, because I hadn't realised. So if you're on Trustist, do just have a check and make sure that everything's filtering through, because generally what happened in your case, Steve, was that Facebook had obviously done an update at some point, and then that throws the connection off with Trustist. So you have to keep an eye on it, and then I can go in manually and reconnect it all up. So yeah, if you're on Trustist, just double check that your reviews are all showing properly as they should, and if they're not, just drop me a line.
Yeah, and I think it affected Kylie Ann's as well, because I was ecstatic when I saw I was at 163. Then I always look to see how many Kylie Ann's got, to see how close she's getting to me, but she's got 100 now, and piling them on. And I looked over the last 3 months, you've had a lot more than I have, so I need to pull my finger out to keep that gap.
I mean, I can do like a monthly league table and keep you all.
No, because Callie will be above me. It's bad enough for being above me on the commission table. I don't want her above me on that one as well. Pat, anything from you?
Brilliant. Yeah. So I'll
Take that as a no, Pat. You're on mute, but I'll take it as a no. Ash? No. Cassia?
Nothing, thank you.
Okay. Donald, anything else from you?
No answer.
No. Dave, sorry, I meant to ask you. Claire? Ross?
No, nothing from me.
Did you find the missing case?
Still no takers. I'll find them in the end.
If I work for Linear for the next 20 years, which I won't because I'll be far too old then, but I'll never understand how anybody can have commission cases that they don't lay claim to. It just blows my
They're
mind.
making too much money, aren't they?
If it was 50 quid, I'd know about it, I tell you. That's probably why I'm top of that commission paid league table at the minute. I just don't get it. There's no point
I'll let
in
you know
front end if you don't get it out the back end. Max? Callie?
No.
Lucy, you've had your chance. Nothing else, no? Fraz, good of you to join us. Nice to, well, I can't see you, but you're here. Anything you want to share with us? Take that as a no, because you're on mute and I can't see you. Tracy?
Just a quick one, big up to Optimum Legal. Sorry, not Optimum Legal, Optimum Commercial, if anybody's not used them yet. I've got them working on about 3 leads at the moment, all different variations. And yeah, guys are really, really good. So anything commercial, just have a chat to them.
Yeah, that's good, because I've got one to send over to them. And that's it. Tracy just mentioned Optimum Commercial. I'll mention, and I forgot what they're called, but second charge referrals. I made a referral 3 weeks ago. I've received a commission today, 800 and something quid. For what didn't feel like a lot of work, I have to say. I suppose it was a lot of work in the first instance because I had to get all the documents and check out the remortgage route and prove why second charge was the best thing. But yeah, you know, it's brilliant for the clients and money for what felt like very little work for me. So don't forget second charges either. Okay, guys, thank you for everyone for joining us. I hope it's been worthwhile, particularly as advisors around the 27 tech side of things. If you've got anything you want to share with us, or you've got anybody you want me to invite to future ones, then please let me know. We've got a lot of new people joining us, which is why I keep sharing the details of the old YouTube ones that we've done, because there's a lot of those that they can find very useful. And as somebody emailed me yesterday, say, thanks for sending me that link. I'm at the end of the month. I needed to get some more CPD, so I'll watch a couple of these. So they're all there. Have a good couple of weeks. Look forward to more good business, no doubt. Take care, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.